Nahji, it's so wonderful
Thanks.
to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good. I mean, it's I'm used to being on your territory, coming to your restaurant and eating your wonderful food, and enjoying your hospitality.
Thank you.
And I wanted to go right back to the beginning and just talk to you a little bit about where you've come from, because you're a Vietnamese refugee. You've built your life here. You're obviously a success story. But if you could just go back and tell us, how was life before you came to Australia?
Gosh, okay, so back to the very beginning. Born in Laos, Luang Prabang, Laos, 1970. So you can imagine Laos, well, you can't really. Not many people have been to Luang Prabang, Laos.
No.
It's an ancient town. If you do the Google, it's the land of a million elephants is what it's known for. It was taken over by the French in the 1700s when they took over Vietnam. They then spread out and discovered that there was Myanmar and there was Laos. Minerally very rich, hence why they occupied Laos and took over, colonised it. I mean, it's just so exotic, like juxtaposed mountains with French architecture, thanks to the French, of course. So, like the Vietnamese, we drove them out and gained independence. But if you look at Laos now, it's got a lot of French architecture. It's Laotian speaking. My grandmother left Vietnam to get to Laos because she was a farmer and her farm was plagued by locusts. She was from Ninh Binh, which is she was a rice farmer. So from there, she ended up as a street vendor in Hanoi, which means you've got to walk 5 hours to get to the streets of Hanoi to be able to sell your wares.
Yeah, wow.
Which is how the freeway of Ninh Binh to Hanoi are these massive markets, actually. There's one that's quite famous. And these days, on the outskirts of Hanoi would be where you'd get your meat, your seafood, your veggies. It's like a providor's market. The reason why that happened is because these farmers back in the day would walk on foot to get to the city, and then they'd haggle with farmers. Can I buy a chicken off you? Can I buy some veggies off you? And along the way, you'd pick up these goods. And they'd have these cane things over their backs. And that's what my grandmother used to do. And then she'd perch herself on the edge of the road in Hanoi and sell her bun quan, steamed rice crepes.
Wow. So right back from the beginning, your grandmother was selling food on the street.
Yeah. So she made friends with this guy who had a truck. He was delivering newspapers to Laos. And back then, you would only deliver newspapers once a month. So she hitched a ride with this guy, ended up in Laos, and found that, yes, there was opportunity for her to have a new life there. Instead of being a street vendor on the streets all her life, well, pretty much, she decided that perhaps she could go and work in Laos. So she just knocked on the door, as her story goes. She saw a very rich house, knocked on the door and said, I'd like to clean and cook for you.
Wow.
She didn't know that that was the cousins of the King of Laos. They said, yes, absolutely.
The cousins of the King of Laos. Wow.
So she got a ride back to Vietnam on the truck and went back and collected her family and decided we're going to walk to Laos and begin a new life. I mean, that's wild.
That's incredible.
That's 60 days and 60 nights to get to a new country through the jungles of Vietnam and then the jungles of Laos to find yourself a new life.
Well, and then, of course, war. And then displacement of then you and your mum and dad.
Yeah. So I've lived through... My grandfather escaped China to end up in Laos. My grandparents escaped Vietnam, to end up in Vietnam, sorry. Then they escaped Vietnam. They didn't escape war, they escaped poverty.
Yes.
For survival. So basically they left Vietnam to get to Laos to gain a better life and made themselves a great life. You know, my parents were then born in Laos and became reasonably wealthy, employed people, became very influential in a new town, a new city. And then through war, which was the Pathet Lao regime, escaped Laos to get to Australia. So it's been, let's say, 200 years of going from one displacement to the next.
Wow. And then you get to Australia. And how old were you when you arrived in Australia?
9 years old.
9 years old. And, you know, at a time when there wasn't much already here in terms of
1978.
In terms of, you know, the Vietnamese community, Vietnamese food. It must have been a very, very foreign place to arrive as a 9-year-old.
Yeah, so massive culture shock. You're looking at like traffic lights. You know, like I remember being from the airport, which was Kingsford, getting off the plane. I mean, I've advertised myself as a boat person.
Yes.
But I actually stepped off the plane as a refugee.
You're a humanitarian arrival.
Yeah. And I remember being then on the bus to get to Bass Hill Hostel. And
that's what we now call the Villawood Detention
yes.
Detention Centre. Yeah.
And we were like, people are stopping at the traffic lights. And then I said, Mum, look. And then like a couple of weeks later, I said, Mum, I swear to God, the lights go green and then they cross and then the light goes red and then they stop because we didn't have traffic lights in Laos. And she said, no, surely not. And I said, no, it's a freaky thing. I mean, the things like that.
Yeah.
That we took like the things we take for granted now.
Yeah. How interesting.
Yeah.
And there must have been things like that all over the place where...
Well, then I remember being at primary school and all the Aussie kids are like, oh, my God, you've got no hair. And we were like looking at their hair going, oh, my God, you've got so much hair. You're like a monkey. And they were like, no, you are a fucking chimpanzee. Look at you. You have black hair. Like, you know, you look like a chimpanzee. And we were like, you look like a blonde ape. Whatever we spoke. It was all like with hand gestures. Yeah.
Yes.
It was very, very foreign, very wild.
So you came here as a refugee. Your family came here as a refugee. How much of that story and that adjustment do you think has made you the success that you are now? I mean, I'm hearing your grandmother's story of, you know, being determined, being resourceful. Obviously, you lived in a refugee camp in Thailand for 3 years. All of this builds character.
Yeah.
And
so, yes, 90% of who I've become is that history. So when you arrive in Australia and you've been given everything, like water, housing, employment, even though it was $1 an hour, didn't matter. It was that we had survived, we were safe, and nothing then would matter for the rest of our lives. There was no such thing as, there's no water to be had tomorrow. I can't eat tomorrow, next week. It was abundant. So when we arrived and people were complaining about, oh, you know, my life's so shit, I used to think to myself and go, fuck, these people, what are they complaining about? Like, they're so entitled. They're so... Even at the age of 9, I thought to myself, can you just remind yourself that when you do become an adult that you don't become complacent? Because I remember there's only one way to become from Australia, is up. When you've come from nothing and you've been given all of this, the only way is up. As long as you keep working hard and you don't complain. Because I was like, you're already gaining. You've won. You know how to clean, you know how to cook, yet these peers of yours who are 9 or 10 complaining. No, I want to play cricket.
So can I just jump in there for a sec? Because I think a lot of the migrant success stories that we hear over time is, when you've made it as a refugee or a migrant to Australia, where the rest of the country really loves jumping on and cheering for you and claiming you.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the young Tanzanian refugee from Adelaide who's kicked the winning goal at the World Cup in the last week or so. And, we're all very excited about that. But is it that the flip side is that if you're going to be a success, you can't complain? And you're saying you don't want to be complacent.
Yeah.
But, is there a bit of a bit of an attitude that says, well, you should just be thankful. You should be grateful.
Yeah, there is a lot of that in Australia. It's a little bit like what's happening with me at the moment on Roslyn Street.
That's here in Sydney.
Yeah.
That's where your restaurant is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, well, let's just even go back to the start of Lady Miss Chu. I put out too many chairs and tables. The council came and fined me. I started electric bikes as a delivery vehicle, the world's first, en masse. The council came and fined me. I put out plants on the street. The council came and fined me. I started something that everyone wanted, like it was a hub. It was too successful. The council came and fined me. 19 years later, now it's all legal. Electric bikes are everywhere, Ubers everywhere. There's now councils saying we've revolutionised outdoor dining. You're now allowed to have plants as long as people can get past. You're allowed to have multiple chairs and tables as long as people are allowed to get past. But I remember back in the day, even like 5 years ago during COVID, when the council would come out with a Bunnings measuring tape and just go, sorry, but you're 300 metres out. I'm like, 300 metres out? This footpath is so wide, people can actually get through. They can.
So pushing the barriers.
Yes. So basically, don't complain, Nahji. You're in Australia. You should be happy. You should be happy that you're successful, that we've given you an opportunity to be successful. So now I'm complaining about the lights being too bright. I understand safety. It's just that it's overly bright, and I would like lighting that is nuanced for dining, because it's residential and commercial, yet the lighting on Roslyn Street, put there by the council, is appropriate for a grand final match, where the Tanzanian can kick a grand final goal.
Stadium level lighting.
That's right. I do feel like there's double standards. You're not allowed to complain especially if you're a successful refugee. It stands out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you can have the success and we'll celebrate your success, but it comes with the caveat that don't rock the boat, don't be a troublemaker, don't push the boundaries.
That's right. And then I do.
And then you do. And I think this is what's so interesting about what you've done. Miss Chu is an example of that. Very innovative, entrepreneurial, disruptive. And this is the point. I think you're the ultimate disruptor.
Yeah.
And you clearly
you have
pick
to be.
things and go, that I want to do this, but this is in my way. What am I going to do to get there?
Yeah, so why do I do that? It's survival, okay? So I got enough points to go to Melbourne Uni. I didn't stay there. Why? I didn't see that being a doctor and or a lawyer was my survival point in Australia back then. I saw that the only way you're going to survive well is to blend in and be social, okay? I needed to work in fashion. I needed to work in hospitality. I needed to meet people. So when you open up in hospitality and you do give people Vietnamese fast food and it's popular, you put out more chairs and tables than the council says you're allowed to because you have to disrupt the system. The council says, no way, you're only allowed 9 chairs, 3 tables. And they go, yeah, but however, I have 50 customers. So what do? You put out more milk crates. Supply and demand. What does the council do? It says there's a fine. And I say, why? Why don't you change the law so that I'm not outside of the law? Okay, it needs someone to break the law to change the law. So I disrupted the council. 19 years later, now it is lawful, okay?
You can eat out on the street and have that atmosphere.
That's right. But it took someone like me to break those boundaries for it to now become the normal.
And expected.
Yes.
I mean, when the weather's good, we all want to be seated outside.
It's just normal.
Yes.
But I wasn't normal back then. I was a disruptor. Well, I mean, I like the word disruptor because it's quite entrepreneurial. But what they called me was a lawbreaker. And I'd say I'm actually not breaking the law. I'm doing something that every person has ever done in history for the betterment of our society, which is you've got to break the law to have the law that is new. I see a draconian system and I'm going to break it until it makes sense.
I wonder how much you think about this in terms of when you see something that is wrong and you want to push against it. You know, how do you... What's your moral compass on this? How do you judge which way to go?
Yeah, because I know what's right and what's wrong intrinsically. I know the innate, you know, like I was born with an innate ability to survive. I don't know, like something about me says I'm quite creative. I'm also very academic, but I yet knew that the innate survival instinct was you could stay at uni. Or do you want to be a survivor on the street? Do you want to be street smart? And I chose the latter. I knew that, like, the council won't do it because their expectation is to be within the law. And yet they won't change the law because it makes it, I don't know, like... well,
it's set. It's like...
It's easier. It makes them
it's
look
controlled.
law-abiding. Like, it makes them look good. Like, you know, like their hashtags are sustainable, city of villages. And yet they're not doing anything to drive that. And then yet when you have a business owner that does, they go, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing exactly what you asked me to do. I'm creating a city of villages for you. Why are you retaliating towards me? Like, you should be holding me up as a poster child for that. So I don't know why that I'm standing out as the woman who's being a bad disruptor, you know, and then yet everyone else in society, in the community is saying she's a good disruptor. So I can only say, Monica and Clover, you're too old to run the city, which is why Sydney should be a vibrant, thriving metropolis. But it's not. Why? It's because it's been run by two old women who are too safe to...
I think this is, I mean, what I'm hearing, and this is what fascinates me about this kind of tension between coming to Australia as a refugee and a migrant and being told to behave, you know, in a certain way, to be grateful, to kind of, you know, just get along quietly, versus your kind of tenacity to say, well, if I'm going to do what I need to do to be successful, then I'm going to call it out.
Okay,
I'm going to stand up.
It's like this. We escaped communism, and for me it feels like only to come to another country that feels even more communist. But it's legalised communism. It does actually feel like that. It's like you can't do that. Well, that's so communist. Why am I'm paying so much tax to be told to not do that? So, like, do you know why I'm even paying that much tax? Because I'm successful. So it's like a conundrum. Help me help you become even more successful. Like, open up the borders, open up the barriers to more thriving businesses in hospitality. Don't shut it down. Yes, like, I'm successful. I can help you build a city that can be so much more successful. So when I say bring down the lighting, it's going to bring in way more tourism. It's going to bring in a vibe. Like, I've demonstrated that through more chairs and more tables and more plants. and everything's safe. Has anyone died at Lady Chu? Has anyone been run over? No. Has anyone had any accidents on the streets? No. I mean, come on. So just bring down the lights. Let's bring in more tourism. Let's lead an example where more restaurants can have more vibey outdoor precincts instead of, oh no, but it's safer if the lights are bright.
You're always prepared to take on the establishment, and you're not afraid about that. I'm interested, there's the current politics right now. We've got huge changes in the political context. You've got the One Nation on the rise. Around the world, you're seeing big shifts away from the establishment parties. Where do you think the conversation in Australia sits in terms of actually shaking up the establishment and pushing back?
Look, what I'm seeing in Australia at the moment is the reason for me, from my perspective, why Pauline's gaining so much momentum. It's not that people want her to lead the country. It's because they are retaliating towards what's not working. So everyone in Australia right now, including myself, is saying, fuck you, Labor, fuck you, Liberal, and you know what? Fuck you all. Because we just want disruption. It's like what America's done and England. It didn't work. Trump is to the detriment of their economy and also the global economy. Brexit is to the detriment of England and therefore they've shot themselves in the foot. I mean, like Brexit, it's 10 years later, what do you see, England? You're going backwards. I mean, hopefully Australians don't vote Pauline. I understand why they would, but I think we're a small enough population to understand that we can learn from what has happened in America. We can learn from what's happened because of Brexit in England. So therefore, let's not
Don't make the same mistakes.
Don't make the same mistake.
Even though there is a frustration amongst the community that the system's not working.
It's not. We need to start from scratch.
I think that protest kind of vote and that, as you said, fuck you Labor, fuck you Liberal, I think that's right. I think that people are really frustrated. They're angry the system isn't working for them. I've just got one concern, is that if we burn the place down, who does that serve? Because I reckon, the people who are really wanting, just like what happened with Trump, just like what's happening with, Nigel Farage in the UK, burning the system down actually suits the vested interests, the big corporations, the kind of the big, the media companies. They would prefer we all just went, this is too hard. I don't know if we want to burn it down, but I do think it needs a bloody renovation, and it needs some good people in there doing some good work to fix it. And you don't fix it by pretending there's no problem, or by just throwing the whole thing out. I think Pauline Hanson and One Nation are, they want us to believe that the answer is just get rid of democracy. I actually think we need more democracy. Yeah. We need more people involved in the problem solving and in the solutions.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
I think she just wants to burn shit down, though. I don't think she wants to. I don't see her rebuilding. What's her solutions? It's just kick the migrants out.
Yeah, she's spreading fear. It's not good for the country. We're going about it the wrong way. She's gaining way too much momentum, and it's going to be to the destruction of the future of Australia. We should be thinking about how we bring in more tourism, more migrants. That's how we grow.
That's how we grow. And that's how we, as you say, it's how we're going to build the houses we need. It's how we actually generate the boom in the economy. She actually doesn't know how to rebuild.
No.
Right?
No. She's good at rhetoric. She's good at scaring people.
She's good at scaring people.
Great slogans.
Yeah.
But that's not going to run the country.
No. And you're right. You wouldn't hire Pauline to rebuild the house. I saw the other night when I came to the restaurant, the way you engage with your customers and your community. Like, it's quite clear that there is, you have a love for food, but you also have a love for for the community around you, and you're bringing these two things together. Is that something that you inherently have always felt, that food was important? I was just thinking about you're saying your grandmother was selling food on the street. I mean, now you're literally selling food on the street.
It's in the blood.
It's in the blood.
It's so I think more than anything, it's cultural. I was born with the culture of community. Like, I don't mean that as like, it sounds, when you say that in the Western context, it sounds daggy. But it literally is. When you're born in Luang Prabang, Laos, Southeast Asia, the motto is look after someone else before you look after yourself. And my mum had always said that. Is the other person next to you okay before you look after yourself? Look after your elders, look after your siblings, look after your parents. It's in the culture. And you don't eat at home in Southeast Asia. You eat with the community, which is why street food is so important. And it's so like, it's normal, It's abnormal to eat at home unless there is a family celebration like a death or a wedding.
And then everybody comes to you anyway.
Yes. Right. So usually in Vietnam or anywhere in Southeast Asia, you'll eat on the street. It's cheaper. So you eat one dish, then you go to the next vendor and you eat the next dish, and then you'll go to the next vendor and eat dessert. But rarely would you sit at one restaurant and eat the whole gamut of it.
Yes, you get the best from each one.
Yes.
Or what suits you.
And then therefore you get this thriving metropolis and everyone's moving around like ants. Yeah. And hence why there is a Chinatown in every hub of the world. Because, like Chinese people don't buy for the week. We buy for the day. We'll buy fruit for the house and whatnot. And if you do cook at home, you'll buy for the day, not for the whole week. Like in Australia, everyone's like, I'm going shopping and I'm going to put everything in the fridge and it's going to last me a whole week. It's like, my God. We don't do that in Asia. It's inherently natural to me to create a vibe, community, family. So, like, even with my staff, I say to my staff all the time, so we're in the business of giving life. And I would say, so what are you studying to be? I'm studying to be a doctor. Oh, good. Well, I'm a conduit to that. I'll pay you a great wage. In fact, you know what? I'm going to pay you above and beyond the minimum wage. I always have. Ask anyone. Way above the minimum wage. Hence why staff retention's massive. So I go, I'll be a conduit to you being a doctor. Because you know what? You'll find out. You'll learn English really well. You'll get all the communication skills from me. But I promise you, this is a better job than being a doctor. Do you know why? I'd rather give life than at the end save a life.
Yeah.
You're going to end up saving someone's life.
Yeah.
So, but I would rather give someone's life right now.
Yeah. Well, but this is the thing about the power of food, isn't it? It's a connector. It allows you to offer.
It's the conduit to. I mean, yeah, of course, it's about. In Australia, you don't eat because you're hungry. You eat because you want an experience. Rarely does someone eat because they're hungry. At a restaurant.
It's because the whole gamut.
It's the thing like, yeah, you're hungry, but you're not really hungry. I mean, we can go without food for 4 days. And you're going to be
sure
healthier.
I could go without food for 4 days.
No, but we go out because we want connection, we want community, we want to bump into someone.
Yeah,
we want an
excuse.
Something. You want an excuse to bump into someone and have a conversation. And also you go out because you want an excuse to say to your friend, I need to raise an issue with you. And you can't say it on the phone. You can't say it via text. You can't say it at home. You're going to say it via hospitality, which is, can I have a cocktail, please? Drink, yeah, because thank you. Then you break the ice.
Yes.
And then you say, hey, mate, so can we talk about that issue?
Yeah.
And you say it softly.
And it instantly brings down the barriers.
Totally, yeah.
One of the other things that brings down the barriers, of course, is the use of humour.
Yeah.
And you engage in that a lot.
That's a survival instinct.
Have you always tried to make people laugh?
For survival, yes. Yes. It was my biggest tool, especially at school. You know, like I remember when I said fuck you. And the kids would laugh at me. Like, they're like, fuck. I'm like, no, that didn't work. Then I'd go, okay, you need to learn how to say fuck you in an Aussie accent. But then you got to beat them at it. And I remember watching, there's, what's the Different Strokes? And Arnold, whatever his name is, he said, what you talking about, Willis? But then there was one day he said, your sarcastic insinuations are far too obnoxious to be treated hypothetically by my superior mind. And I went, what? I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I went, how does it go again? And then I went, right, you need to memorize that. And then when you go to school, you're going to say, and then I repeated it. And then the kids at school would be like, what the fuck?
What the hell is that?
And I went, yes, you're winning.
So you bamboozled them.
Yeah, that's it.
You confused them.
Yeah.
I think we could do with a bit more humour in politics sometimes. And
there's a lot of sarcasm in politics, but it's not humour, so there's a big difference. Sarcasm is really mean. It's belittling.
Yes, and there is a difference, isn't there?
I mean, I see a lot of it yelling across the floor, like, oh, it's the economy, stupid. I mean,
well, it's also I think politicians. I know this from my own experience that if you really want to hear what's going on in the community and you want to connect with people and understand what's going on, you have to not take yourself too seriously.
You got to take the piss out of yourself.
You've got to be able to take the piss out of yourself.
You take the piss out of yourself, and you do not take the piss out of the economy. Stupid.
Don't take the piss out of the economy. Well, but the thing is, not taking yourself too seriously and being able to...
Which is the Aussie thing,
Which
right?
is the Aussie thing.
That's the thing. That's like... that basically the ultimate assimilation tool is Aussie humour. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you can land at that, thank you very much. Welcome to our country. You've assimilated far beyond our wildest expectations.
Because you can laugh at our jokes.
Yes.
And laugh at yourself.
Yeah, you're a true Aussie now.
You're a true Aussie.
Yeah.
What about giving back? Because here's the thing. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of refugees during my time in politics. I've been to detention centres and visited people. I've spoken to people who've, at various different stages of being accepted as refugees. I can't believe the number of people that are still left in limbo. By the way, that's just it just breaks my heart that we punish people for coming to this country, seeking a better life. But
when we
there is always it always feels to me when I have these conversations with refugees, there is this genuine desire for wanting to give back.
Yeah, there is genuine desire. Most of it is, again, I'll go back to cultural. Growing up in Southeast Asia, you go to the temple once a week and you bring your goods and it's an offering to the monks. So it's always giving back to the community. So that's set in stone from birth. And when you grow up with that, it's kind of like, it's kind of normal. Like you just give back.
It's not just take.
No, you're meant to give back. But in a Western sense these days, it's the expectation of you have to give back to Australia. Like it's like you give back anyway, but then there's this political sense of worthiness because you don't feel worthy. So how do you feel worthy? Okay. I'll prove to them that I'm worthy of being here. I'll give back more than I already am. Because don't forget, most refugees who come here already do give back.
Yes.
Yes. They do. Like
the contribution is huge. I mean, you look at all the statistics and it's quite clear that people who come to Australia seeking a better life, whether they've fled oppressive regimes or extreme poverty, risk everything of their families to get here, are desperate to make it worth it, right?
Yeah,
so they contribute. They set up businesses.
They contribute twice as much. Like so with heart and soul and then financially as well. So the burden is quite huge. It's doubly huge. It's a little bit like a double whammy. You come to this country and then you've got your culture shock. So that's one. Then you might have your, like for me, like culture shock one. Then you've got adolescence. Boom, so whilst everyone's going through adolescence, I was like, oh, I'm going through it twice as badly.
Yes.
And then you've got to have like expectation of having to succeed at school. Like, I mean, gosh, I learnt my ABCs at the age of 9. So like, and then you have to pass year 12, which is huge as a person who doesn't speak English. Then you got to enter the workforce. Like, it's just always double whammy. So,
and the expectation of the family on
as
you
well.
as succeeding as well.
Yeah, so you've got to assimilate, then you've also got to retain your original culture. So, yeah, there's always two things coming at you all the time. You can't just be one person and be one normal person. You have to speak English really well. Oh, but don't forget, you've also got to speak Vietnamese really well.
Because otherwise you're not even seen as authentic then,
yeah,
are you?
That's right. So, yeah, you kind of come in with both brains.
Yeah.
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 I mean, like it's, some people say you're a little bit, whatever, what is it? What's that word? Bipolar.
Well,
like I'm not bipolar, I'm bi-citizen.
Bi-citizen. It's interesting because a lot of members of the First Nations community speak about it in a similar way, living in two worlds.
Yeah.
They've got their, Indigenous culture and their family and needing to be connected to country.
Yeah.
And then there's this expectation to fit in with
The Western society.
The West.
Yeah.
That's right. And the kind of colonised communities.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a bit about the work that you do with your, the First Nations fashion
Yeah, I do
brand?
a lot of it.
Because
Yeah.
you kind of are trying to support that and
Yeah,
support
I do.
Indigenous people,
I do it
making
because
their
I
own
believe
way.
in it, but also I do believe that it's an expectation. I feel like, I've bought some Tracy Moffat art, and that was my way of saying thank you for having us on your land. I support Indigenous fashion. Again, thank you for having us on your land. It's my philanthropic cause because I want my money to stay in Australia. I also want to support Southeast Asia, but I feel like I'm not allowed to because you're going to be seen. You're so high profile. Someone's going to say, what do you mean? There they go again. These Asians, they come into Australia and then they send money back home. Okay, I don't want to be accused of that.
So you're investing here
In Australia.
where you are.
Yeah.
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 In Sydney, where your restaurant is such a diverse community. You've got some really wealthy people, and I imagine some of those people are customers to the restaurant and regulars. And then you've got a huge homeless population as well. There's a lot of people living on the streets around Potts Point and in that really inner city area.
I'm part of it. That diaspora of people and that juxtaposition is very much my whole life, has always been my whole life. Living with wealth and poverty is normal to me, and I've been born in it. I've seen it all my life. I came from poverty and then I became wealthy and then I lost money and then I became poverty again. And, I've been rags to riches multiple times in life through my grandparents, through my parents, and then via myself twice in my own life.
Do you think we're not dealing with these issues because it's all too hard and too complex and politicians don't want to kind of...
well, they need to.
So, Nahji, you've expanded your restaurant literally along the street. You've put out more chairs. You did the electric bikes with Miss Chu. You've put plants on the streets. You've grown and really delivered what the community has wanted, what your customers have wanted, created a hub and an atmosphere. And then the council turns around and says, no, you can't. That's against the rules. That's against the regulation. It doesn't fit within the clauses. And we're dealing with stuff like that all the time in Parliament.
Yeah.
Well, you can see there's a problem or there's an opportunity there's an idea.
Yep.
But as soon as you put it on the table, people go, "Oh, no, that can't be done because it hasn't been done before,"
Yep.
or no, that vested interest over there, that gas company doesn't want to have to pay their export tax. You know, they've been getting away with it for years, and they're not going to start paying it now. You know, there's always a kind of push against somebody who's offering something new, especially when it's a solution,
Yep.
against something that the establishment,
Yep.
the people in charge, the vested interests have always just gone, "Oh, well, this is the way we do things."
Yeah, no, it's not, because that's not how you do things, because you're looking at the negative, and you keep seeing the negative, and you keep arguing about the negative. So what you do, and what I've always done, is when you see adversity and negative, you turn it upside down and you turn that into a tool. So if you're a refugee, that is the biggest tool you've got, your hunger to succeed. Okay, so if you've got a problem in Parliament, you turn it upside down and you go, no, let's look at the positives. Okay, why should they pay tax? Because look at all the benefits of if they did. Okay, so like, don't go, but they won't. You go, yes, they will. So
and we can fund education, and
right.
we can fund
and then you got to
healthcare.
keep celebrating all the positives. Look at all the positive refugee stories, the positive, like look how much gain we've had out of immigration. So don't think like, this negative thing is just fear-mongering. So you go, look at what's happened because of immigration. Look at all the growth we've had because of immigration. Look at all the labour we have because of immigration. And look at all the things that are so fabulous about Australia because of everything that we are saying that's wrong about Australia. It's not wrong.
It's what's made.
It's what has
makes
made
it
us successful.
Great. Exactly.
Can we not forget about the Italians who came, the Greeks who came, the Vietnamese who came, all that labour that turned us into a very prosperous nation? Like, don't forget, we invited them in to work for nothing.
Not to mention the Afghans who built the railways. This is making me think about Pauline Hanson again, and not just Pauline Hanson, but the hard right, and they've done this in the US. They're doing it in the UK. They want to do it here.
You're going to blame the immigrants because it makes you look better.
Well, they blame the immigrants, but they say that there's some kind of idea that we've got to go turn the clock back, as if we were a country. We were never a country of migrants.
Yeah.
And like, that is not who we've never been that.
Well, that's the most uneducated thing anyone can say. Turn the clock back. Even like hypothetically and like emotionally, turn the clock back. Back where? Because there has to be progress. You're born as a baby. Like, do you think you want to stay a baby all your life? You grow into an adult. It's inevitable that things grow, okay? It's just the natural order of life.
That's
You
right.
can't... you're forced to progress.
Yeah. And pushing back against the rules when the rules are either silly, old, outdated, or just not delivering for the community. And I think that's why people are so frustrated at the moment, because they're seeing the system not working for them. It's not working. And so they're getting angry, they're getting frustrated. It's either all the migrants' fault or all the politicians' fault.
Yeah.
But politically, like from a political perspective, we have to hear that and respond. And we've got to accept that some of these things need fixing. And that means making some people feel uncomfortable sometimes.
Absolutely.
That might mean, what's the analogy? If you want to make an omelette, you've got to break some eggs.
That's it.
You actually have to stand up and call some of this stuff out. And you do have to push back against the system.
In order to get things done, you have to break draconian laws to create new ones that work better for society.
And it is about what the community needs, what the society needs, what people need.
It's what works.
It's what works. And I mean,
you've got to keep up with the times.
And history's shown this the whole way through. Like, social change happens when people stand up and say, actually, what's going on is wrong. I'm going to say something about it, and I'm going to convince other people to say something about it. And we're going to band together and we're going to change it.
That's it, revolution.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't need a revolution in Australia to create change. You just have to, everyone just change the law. Just do it.
Politicians just got to get on with their jobs.
Yeah, look, I might have to give them some T-shirts. Just chew it.
Just chew it. I'd buy one.
Yeah.
Talking about the love of food and the use of humour, we've got an example of that in the studio today. You've brought in, Nahji, it's your famous fortune cookies.
Yes.
Which, by the way, doing my own research about fortune cookies, you know, they originated in California because from Japanese migrants
Right.
who brought them in and, you know, wanted a way of connecting with their local community.
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow, that's wild.
So you make your own version.
Yeah.
Now, can you just explain to me what the purpose of these are?
Again, connection to community via... it's disruption.
It's disruption.
It's disruption. It's a conversation via... once upon a time, it used to be the milk carton, you know, like Lost Child or whatever. Then I always thought, wouldn't it be nice to do my political messaging through a milk carton? Then I went, it's too expensive. You don't sell milk. However, you can do it via fortune cookies.
Fortune cookies.
But I call them unfortunate cookies.
Unfortunate cookies.
Okay, so what's yours?
So mine is, if your campaign's biggest achievement is upsetting your relatives at Christmas, aim higher.
There you go. I think that might be aimed towards Pauline. Or if your campaign slogan would also work as a warning label, reconsider. There you go.
So you hand these out to people at the end of their meal.
Yeah.
And they always have a good chuckle.
Yeah, everyone has a good chuckle and they change all the time. You'll never get one the same ever.
Yeah. And sometimes they're a bit perplexed. But
sometimes they're really rude, like, you know, like outrageously rude, to the point where someone would email me, go, I'm massively offended, go, oh, no, we're known for it.
Get over yourself and stop taking it too seriously.
And also the C word, I mean, that's a beautiful word. In England, in old England, like, you know, it was like you'd be lucky to be called a C word.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a form of flattery. It actually is. Look it up. Women are loving being called the C word.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for coming along and chatting to us today, Nahji.
Pleasure.
And,
been an honour.
It's been great. And look after yourself, cunt.
That's it. Thanks, cunt. Thanks for having me, cunt. From one woman to another, it's an honour and a privilege to be on your show, cunt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.